So I'm finally just going to talk to you guys about what the hell I've been doing for the past year and what is happening now, basically. In the video where I was talking about how I quit my job, my public school teaching job, in it I had said I was trying to find a part-time job. So I was actually working at a hagwon. At first, everything was like, wow, this is great. Like I didn't get that first job, but now I have this job and the hours were less, but the pay was more. And I was like, this is perfect. This is by my house. This is going to be really, really good. And you know, COVID happened. That job was like, yeah, we're not gonna pay you for the first month because you're not like working. And I'm like, but what? Then like literally one day randomly, like I get a call from my coordinator. Remember how I told you last week that you weren't going into work? Next week, yeah, so there was like a miscommunication. You actually are going into work. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you have work today. You have work right now. Can you get there like now? And I was like, huh? I didn't prepare anything. I don't know what exactly I had to do, what books I was going to teach. Also, this hagwon was for pre-K. It was like 3 to 5 year olds Korean age. So that could be like 1 to 4. No idea what I had walked into. They were just like, okay, go teach. And I was like, hey guy. So used to a certain way of teaching when I was in a public school, because you know you have a co-teacher with you and like you have a curriculum and you talk about what you're going to do and stuff, but this was like completely different. And granted, maybe if I had come from that like hagwon background, and basically what a hagwon is, there's a public school and there's a hagwon which is a academy, and this could be like an after school one or it could be like a kindergarten pre-K, which is like what I was doing. I remember when I had seen the books during the interview, the things that they were teaching these kids were the same type of things that I was teaching my like 3rd graders. I had to teach this to like a 2-year-old. How is that even okay? I was definitely again used to a certain way of teaching. Obviously it was going to take some time to get adjusted, and there wasn't anyone telling me like, hey, this is how we're going to do things or whatnot. When I was in epik, like my first year here in Korea, I remember the first 2 weeks I didn't even teach because my co-teacher was like, I want you to see like how I do it. So at least I was able to get some idea. This thing, I didn't have any idea of anything. And I was like, obviously they knew that when they hired me. By my 2nd day, my coordinator sent me an email saying like, hey, so the school doesn't think like you're gonna be a good fit. This is like my 2nd day because you're not teaching them the way that they want. The kids are like kind of bored. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Thank God I read that email, because then the director like called me in. You know, the kids are complaining and stuff. In my head, I'm like, you gave me nothing to work from. And I was so freaked out because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose this job. Like, what am I supposed to do for like my visa and like money and all this stuff? I was so fucking worried, man. I think had I come from already a hagwon background, this job probably wouldn't have been that bad. But because I didn't come from that hagwon background and I came from public school, it was a complete 180 and it affected me so much. Like I dreaded going into work. And even though I only worked such little hours compared to like my full-time job, it was like when I would go into work, I literally only had 30 minutes of break. Even like in between classes, there wasn't any like, okay, you have 10 minutes. No, it's like you finish your class, you go to the next one. You finish your class, you go to the next one. You finish your class. It was a lot. It was really hard for me to communicate with these students because they were so young, and it was just, there's a lot of things going on. But anyways, the root of it was that I completely dreaded going into work. So much to the point, one day I was just editing on my computer and my heart did this thing where it just started like beating so fast. I thought like right then and there, I thought I had COVID. My heart is giving out. I'm gonna die in my apartment. This was probably like, I don't know, maybe like a month or like 2 months in. I forget like when exactly. But all of a sudden this thing happened and I had never experienced it. It came out of nowhere. I was just like la la la, like just chilling. And then all of a sudden my heart was like, I got so scared. I was like calling my friends. Of course, like no one's picking up. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die by myself. That's it. No one's gonna find me. Probably lasted like, I don't even know how long, maybe a good minute, 2 minutes, I don't know. My one friend then ended up calling me back and I told her what happened. I was like, I don't know what the hell this thing was. It's just like my heart just went crazy. I remember my friend was like, oh, I think it might be stress. So like to cry out any of those emotions. Immediately I was like, oh, try to cry? Okay, let me see. And I was like, ugh. And like the tears just came out. I thought it was just like a one-time thing, but then it started reoccurring more, and basically it felt as if like my heart would just like kind of stop for like a second. I would just have this thing that would be like, I searched it up online, like what is this? And it seemed like I was having heart palpitations. Or like, I don't know how long this was happening. I decided to go get it checked out. So then I went to the doctor. They checked it on the EKG and I couldn't find anything. So I was like, okay. I went to a clinic and he was like, okay, if you really want to go get it like a 24-hour checkup, then you got to go to like a big hospital. They hooked me up to a EKG like little monitor thing for 24 hours. In those 24 hours that was hooked up to this heart monitor thing, like they couldn't find anything. When I went back, they got my results and everything, and they're like, yeah, we didn't find anything like, you know, out of the ordinary. The doctor said like we found like maybe like 8 irregular heartbeats, but it's not like a super crazy amount. He's like, I could probably have that same amount. So I was like, okay. So I ended up going back to the clinic, not like the big hospital, because like I'm more familiar with that doctor. And he was basically like, whenever you do feel heart palpitation, come back to the clinic so that we can like get it and I could like see it better if it's like a real big episode that you're having. Coming back from work on the bus, it started happening. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening right now. They were able to catch it. He was like, okay, it seems like you have some type of, yeah, like irregular heartbeat, like heart arrhythmia. Nothing was like officially diagnosed, like, okay, you have this, so you should like watch out for that, like here's some medicine or anything. It's probably due to stress, so just make sure to like try to calm yourself down basically. I was like, okay, great, but also I'm like, wow, I have never had anything wrong with my heart. This job was giving me this stress to the point where it affected my heart. That's just so messed up. Finally started getting into the groove of my job, but I still had that, and they ended up giving me like an additional like month off because of the next wave that we were having here. That whole month that I wasn't working, I didn't have one like irregular heartbeat. I got the message that we were going to go into work the next week. My heart was like, did a thing, and I was like, oh my God. We went back into work in January. I ended up finding out from a coworker that they were doing like interviews for an English teacher position, and I'm like, wait, are they going to like firing me without telling me or something? And so I brought it up to the director like, hey, are you replacing me? Like, what's the deal, man? We want to hire full-time, and I know you can't do full-time. Are you going to keep part-time and full-time? And she was like, I'm not sure yet. What? When I left work, I kind of felt like a sense of relief. The decision has been made for me. I don't have to go back to this job, and I can just try to do something else, right? But then like the next week, I asked them again. I was like, hey, by the way, like what did you guys like figure out? And they're like, oh, we can keep you. What's really interesting is that in the beginning, like on my day 2 of working at that job, they're like, we don't know if you're fit. And at the end of it, they're like, we really want to keep you, so we're gonna keep the part-time position for you. I don't know, because of that one little moment that I had of like, they were like, oh yeah, well, you know, we don't know if we're gonna keep you or not. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I don't have a job. Why am I trying to stay in this job? I thought about it for like a week. And also now that I had Albie, I'm like, if I would wake up really early, my mornings were so rushed. Maybe I don't need this job. Maybe I could just do something else. Actually, even during that month that I didn't have work, hey, if you survived a month, maybe you could survive a year without having like a stable job. The next week I ended up telling the job, what do you mean? Like you're not resigning with us? Like I thought we talked about it. I thought it was okay. And I was like, yeah, no, sorry. So yeah, I quit that job, yeah. But honestly, I was still really scared to even do this because it's not like I'm making like thousands of dollars through my ad revenue on YouTube to be set for like rent and bills and stuff. But luckily I do have like some type of cushion. Okay, if I work hard enough, then things will just eventually like even out. I remember like talking about it with my mom, and my mom was like, you know, I believe in you, and I know that there's so many other people that believe in you too, and so like just do it if you think it's gonna help you out, if it's gonna give you more time to do what you want to do. And that's also like one thing that, because of the stress that I had of that hagwon job, even though it was a part-time job, like so stressed out that I didn't want to do anything. Like I could barely make one video. So now you're like, okay girl, so what the hell are you doing now? Okay, let's get into that. So after I said no to the job, like I'm not going to resign with them, I was offered this really cool job. But because of my visa, which was still on an E2, I wasn't able to take it. And I was like, wow, because this was like really cool that they wanted me for this job. So what the hell did I do after this? Basically, my visa was expiring on March 31st. So I had a good 2 months to figure out what I was going to do. But obviously I didn't want to save it to the last month. I wanted to figure it out like now. My options were either to go into D10, which is a looking for work visa. However, with that said, if I were to get offered a job like I had done Previously, I still wouldn't be able to take it because technically on that D10 I'm not allowed to work, but that was like a good backup plan for me. My main thing was like, okay, I want to get an E6 visa, which is an entertainment visa. For the E6, there's like 2 ways that you could get that. One is basically going through an MCN, and this is a multi-channel network. This is basically for YouTubers. So there's companies like Diet TV, Treasure Hunter, Collab Asia. Anyone can be signed under these MCNs. However, if you want to get a good contract, honestly, or a better contract, I should say, you know, maybe have them potentially sponsor your visa, then you got to show something. You know, you got to be like, here, I have 200,000 subscribers. Here, look at my last like 10 videos are going viral or something. Like just showing them something that they're going to be like, okay, you know, we're going to go ahead and sponsor you. Other option is going through like modeling or entertainment agencies. But yeah, with these agencies, you're gonna have to have like a portfolio, a comp card, you know, fit their standards and whatnot. This could be for modeling or acting or like TV persona as well. So there's that. And so if you're someone that's trying to get an E6, like really just gonna have to do a lot of research into like the different kind of like modeling agencies or the different kind of MCNs that you want to get into, and just email, have your, not necessarily your documents, but if it's an MCN, have your media kit ready. If it's a modeling agency, entertainment agency, have that portfolio, have that comp card. You got to show like, listen, man, put your faith in me. I'm going to bring you the money. So trying to get a visa was a kind of a bumpy road for me. And I remember my sister was like, why are you trying so hard to stay there? Your channel is something where you can do it anywhere. It's not like so Korea based where you have to stay in this country to make content. And I was like, right. I love the life that I have here. I'm just not done with Korea yet. I feel like I would be giving up a lot if I were to go back home right now. I feel like I've just been kind of building myself up to this point right now in my life where like, yeah, the first year that I came here to Korea, I was in Daejeon. Well, I need to move to Seoul to make like more content. Okay, fine. So then I moved to Seoul, and so I took the next step, but then I was in a public school. You know, I need more time. Okay, fine. Next step, get into a part-time job. Okay, now I finally have this part-time job. I'll focus more on YouTube. Oh wait, hold on. This job is stressing me the fuck out. Okay, fine. Next step, which is now. And it's like, everything is on me. Whatever it is that I want to do. If it turns out that this year is a complete shit show, I don't have anyone else. I don't have any type of external factor to blame other than myself. This is what I wanted. I wanted to become a full-time YouTuber. So that's what I worked towards. And of course, one thing that I have to say is like, yes, I definitely put in the work to get to where I am now, 100%. But obviously, thanks to you. To you that is watching this video right now, thank you to you, because obviously without that number that was with me, you know, it's hard to show people like, listen, I am worth your company giving me a shot, like, you know. So thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm so happy that we have like this little community here. I'm starting to do more of like live premieres. Being able to chat with you guys in real time has been really nice. But yeah, again, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was able to land the contract. So yes, now I'm here legally. I can work here legally. We're all good. So yes. So what am I doing going forward? Actually, I'm just trying to figure out how to manage this new lifestyle that I have, because honestly, I do not have it down. I'm basically just editing around the clock. Like whenever I can, I'm just editing, and like I need to set like a good schedule for myself. I want to get back into the routine of things, of even like before adopting Albie. And something else. So I am going to be reviving my patron. I will be reviving my Patreon. And if you don't know what Patreon is, that's where people can pledge a certain amount of money every month to donate to their favorite content creator. And then you'll also get rewards in return. I have neglected that for the longest time. I think because I just had this idea like, oh, okay, I'm definitely gonna have the time to do this. And then I just didn't. And then I was getting like really like, oh my God, wait, I'm not doing anything. And then even though I wanted to do something, I was scared to do it because I was like, I've already neglected it for such a long time. So can I go back into it? And it was like this never ending cycle. I think now I'm gonna have to change the rewards on that, because I can't ship out anything because of the situation that's here. Like it's so expensive to ship anything out. But Spotify did open up in Korea. So maybe I might like make a playlist every week or something. Maybe open up to like a little group chat that we can do on like Zoom or something. Or even do like the top tier rewards, like a personal styling thing. Ooh, that might be a thing. That might be a thing. Oh, and I also opened up a coffee. Right? Coffee. And this is kind of like Patreon, but instead of doing like a monthly pledge, it's like a one-time thing. And you could just donate like whatever amount that you want. So yeah, I mean, if you can donate, Bless you. Thank you. Obviously, it's not necessary at all whatsoever. Right now, what I'm working towards is getting a new camera because my poor baby girl, she's on her last legs. Like, she's been on her last legs for like the past 2 years, but I've just been like, please don't die on me. So that is it for this video. This is my life update. Thank you so much for listening. Basically what has been happening this past year and my current situation now. Thank you so much for joining along in my whole journey, whether you've been with me since I was back in Daejeon or you just joined in like, I don't know, 2 days ago. Thank you so much. I hope to catch you guys in the next video. I hope this video finds you safe. And that's it. Be happy. Bye.